Cost of living is really a question I get asked often, and I thought it would be important to give you a perspective in looking at the Yakima Valley. I focused really on the four large cities across the state, of course, Seattle, Spokane, Tri-Cities, and then the Yakima Valley. Just to offer you some perspective, we'll talk about what the average home is, property tax values, what it would cost to rent in each one of those cities, and give you an overall idea of where does Yakima sit when it comes to cost of living in Washington state. Let's start off with Seattle. The average home in Seattle now is $890,000. I can't even imagine. It's probably like a two-bedroom, one-bath bungalow, to be honest. Property taxes there at 93% of the assessed value. Oh, then let's look at Spokane. Their average sales price is $520,000. They are also assessed at about a 93% for property taxes. Let's cruise down. We're going south now to Tri-Cities. Average sales price there, $460,000, and their assessed value for property taxes at 71%, so much lower than what we're seeing on either corner of the state. And then little old Yakima, Washington, average sales price coming in at $360,000. Our property tax assessment is actually higher. It's at 84%. But I want to give you some perspective on that. The reason why it's at 84, we've got brand new schools and they are beautiful. Two new high schools, multiple updated elementary schools, new middle school. So we're making that investment and that's really showing up in the assessments on property taxes. Now that we've looked at homes, we're going to look at what does it cost to rent? So let's go back to Seattle. An average two-bedroom in Seattle, are you ready for it? $2,800 a month. For a three-bedroom, you can anticipate nearly $3,900 a month for rent. Oh my gosh, Spokane, $1,800 for a two-bedroom. They're coming in about $2,300 for a three-bedroom. Tri-Cities, two-bedroom at $1,500, a three-bedroom at $1,750. Yakima, Washington, two bedrooms, $1,200 a month. A three-bedroom, two-bath, you can anticipate between $1,400 and $1,600 a month. Now, these are really looking at apartments or overall rent rates. If you're going to rent a home in Yakima, you will pay more, but you get a fenced yard, you have more privacy than in an apartment building. You could anticipate that rent amount being much closer to $2,000, all the way up to about $2,400. Time to get a roommate, right? I also wanted to share, it was pretty fun doing the research on this. I always brag about Yakima sunshine, right? And with nearly 300 days, why wouldn't I? We also only get about 7 inches of rain. And I think people are really surprised by that. But Central Washington really is a desert. If you go to Seattle, 39 inches of rain annually with about 170 days of overcast and drizzle. I mean, it's no wonder why Seattle keeps coming over to the east side. They need some vitamin D, I'm telling you. Commute time. I just feel like I spent so much time when I lived in Seattle. I was over there for about 16 years and I watched a 30-minute commute grow to over an hour. And I was going east side to downtown. That was really a driving force for us to come back here. You know, as a young mom with a little, she was in daycare. I was a working mom and she was in daycare for way too long. And it was like, this is crazy town. That commute now in Seattle's got to be well over an hour to 2 hours. There's so much road construction over there, it's crazy. Yakima, we complain if we have to sit at a light for one time. I mean, we're talking a 15-minute commute. If you went east all the way to west, it might take you 30 minutes. It's really easy to get around town and get to the highway or get even north to south. It's really not that far. You get so much time back when you move here. It's something that you value. Honestly, I think once you have children, once you've lived in a big city and you realize, what am I doing with all this time in traffic? Quick side note, I have a daughter in LA and of all the places, right? And she lives near where the Palisade Fire is. And now her commute is over 2 hours one way. She's spending over 4 hours a day driving. It's clearly a lifestyle choice. California is beautiful. Where she lives is absolutely beautiful, but it's the trade-off. Do you want time or do you enjoy all the amenities and conveniences of a big city? Yakima is just a much slower pace of life. I wanted to also address what a lot of people ask me about, and a lot of the reason why the Living in Yakima channel was started, and that is about crime. And the truth is, every community has it, and I know your community does too. And frankly, I know you're not driving in those areas at night, right? I don't either. It's really not something that has affected me in my neighborhood or the people around me. Where crime happens is a pretty central area in Yakima. And I will tell you, I interviewed the sheriff. That's up on my YouTube channel. And he was so reassuring. Their collaboration that they're doing with YPD, Yakima Police Department, and the Sheriff's Department, state-of-the-art tools that they've got now, crime labs right on site. It's really incredible. All of this is really designed to protect our community and help us fight against crime. So don't listen to all the bad news and the negative. I'm here to tell you every community has its problem. Yakima does too, but we're doing all the right things to really address them. And lastly, when we look at the full picture of what it is to live in Yakima, we've talked about housing, we talked about home purchases, property taxes, we've talked about rent. I wanted to bring it full circle and talk about healthcare, which is a very hot topic. Yakima MultiCare Memorial Hospital, we have a whole new leadership team here, and they are on a mission with intent and enthusiasm to really bring exceptional care to the people of our community. And I'm so impressed by this leadership team, and I know you will be too, and their ability to service at a deep level, whether it's cancer services, children with special needs, heart surgeons, if you need a new hips, you need new knees, you need a new shoulder. We've got all of those surgeons here and state-of-the-art equipment. So I think you'd really be impressed with all that the Valley has to offer for you. If you like this content and you have any questions about what it's really like about living in Yakima, please reach out. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. It makes all the difference.